Hey guys, Terry Red here, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about my latest and greatest updates, fixes, and super cool new features I've added to Sonic Pinball Mania. What the frick, you may be saying? Terry Red, you said you were done doing these updates and that you'd be starting to go back to working on Silent Hill. Well, that was mostly true. I did want to, before doing that, go back and update Sonic Pinball Mania and a few of the other tables that have the older version of FizX, like the first version that came out. They still have that. For those who don't know, FizX is a newer physics system for future pinball that is basically adapted and fuzzy physics techniques from visual pinball onto future pinball to allow future pinball tables to play so much better now. After all these years, future pinball's physics, the crappy flippers are gone. The ball has better weight. The rubbers have scatter physics. The slings are more realistic. You could do all the flipper tricks and everything like that. So JLu, who created FizX, he's been doing a lot of work over the last number of months to constantly update it and refine it, make it better, have newer features, make it just much better overall. And some of the more recent tables like Jaws and that started getting those newer updates, but there's been still constant updates. So I wanted to update Sonic Pinball Mania and some of the other tables to be in line with the newer version of FizX before I moved on to Silent Hill. The other thing was for Sonic Pinball Mania, there's various fixes and changes that I kind of came across over the last number of months that I've added to the table in the meantime. Uh, just various fixes, like, for example, having a proper ball save. Before, when the ball was saved, you'd get another launch bonus, and you could just kind of keep double dipping that. So now that's fixed. It's a proper ball save. You don't get the launch bonus a second time, and the ball saver stops after getting the first ball save. So that's changed and more and correct now. I changed it so that multi ball, if you've cleared multi ball, will no longer repeat. In other words, you can't do it after that until you clear the game. The reason for that was for multi ball, once lock is lit, well, you can't progress to any other mode. You have to go through lock all balls and then do multi ball before you can progress anymore. And that really held up progress in the game because you couldn't do any mania modes as a result of that until you continued on and finished off the multi ball. So now, if you clear multi ball, you can't lock the balls anymore after that, and you can't do multi ball anymore after that until you've cleared the game or you start another game. And that is so much better. It'll allow you to get to the mania modes as much as you want after that, to get all the chaos emeralds and to clear the game. Way, way better. Once you clear the game, then it starts all over again. So much, much better. For the different mania modes, when you start them, you no longer start them with the ball coming out onto the blue wire ramp. That made it. That was intentional at first to allow it to be easier to play, so that because the reason why was because this mania mode shot here. It's such a pain. It was such a pain in the ass to make that shot. Well, and I made it so that, on Ring Hunt, it would clear out the first section of rings for you automatically. And for Bot Bash, it would automatically hit the first bot that was on there. Well, a lot of changes to the table's physics, to the layout, to the geometry allows the ball to be trapped with these upper flippers much, much easier now compared to before. But also, other new features that I'll eventually get to will dramatically change that Mania Mode shot forever, and we'll get to that. And that's a big part of this update that's going to change this game completely in so many ways. So those are a lot of the excuse me, sorry, the normal gameplay changes I've made. I've also updated some of the lighting, the shadows, shadow maps, various bits of that all over. But now I'll start talking about the two new big features that will change this game completely. So there's two of them, and you can see what they are down on the apron here. Yeah. So now we have two new things on the apron here, and we have two new lights. So on the left side we have Sonic Spin Dash. So anyone who's ever played Sonic games, knows that they pretty much all have a Sonic Spin Dash, and what that is basically when Sonic is not moving, yeah, you push down, he crouches down, and then when you hold down the action button, he starts spinning on the spot. And when you let go of the action button, then he then just fires off. You know, it's kind of like a Sonic trait, right? And when I started working on this table, it's the first thing I thought of. You know, I was like, you know, way months way back. You know, I was like, that's a natural thing to have on this table, but I wasn't sure exactly how to do it or how to do it. I had ideas, but you know, I wasn't quite sure how to do it in a way that would allow it to be, you know, work well. So that was one thing that I've got working on this table now. We have a proper Sonic Spin Dash, and I'll explain more about that when I do some gameplay demos. The next one is you see a big change up here. This is different now. You can see it's Dr. Robotnik's picture is still there, but he's smaller, and now he's surrounded by 8 lights. Well, there's actually two things there. The lights are independent lights, and they serve a function, not just for, you know, looking pretty. And in the center, it's now a spinning disc. And you know, for me, when I saw the big Robotnik, you know, visual there, the red ring, I always felt that would be a perfect spot for a spinning disc in this table. It just, I don't know, it made sense. And for those who don't know, a spinning disc is a toy that is on a lot of pinball tables. You'll see it on lots of tables like Twister, Whirlwind, Fireball, Tron Legacy. You know, various real pins have a spinning disc. Uh, some of those have also a center magnet in the center of that spinning disc. Twister is one, X-Men is one. And the idea is that when the spinning disc is going, it'll send your ball flying to different directions as a result. But if the magnet is in the center, it will capture that ball and hold on to it. And then when it lets go of the ball, then it will send the ball flying off into different directions as well. And I've also seen other tables that use just magnets for various reasons. Like Twilight Zone used magnets for shooting the ball as like kind of like magnetic flippers. Ghostbusters has the LE has the magnetic slingshots, you know, and you know. But this new toy that I have, which is called the Magna-Spinner, is a combination of all those with a new additional unique feature. At least I don't think I've ever seen it done like this before, you know, or this being used in a pinball game. And it's going to allow you to control where the ball fires off after the magnet uh, dissipates and releases. And it's very cool. So if you go down here, you'll see it tells you right here the Magna-Spinner. So the idea is that when this light comes on, or you'll see it up there with that light for the Magna-Spinner comes on, the red lights. Uh, You'll hold down the launch button or the action button, the Magna Save button / fire button, and that will stabilize the ball. And then when you release the button, it'll shoot the ball. Now, it's easier to show what I mean by that when we actually play it. But the idea is that you're going to enable the Magna-Spinner by hitting the checkpoint. All right? Every time you hit the checkpoint here, it will do it'll do a few things, actually. It will enable the Magna-Spinner, so it'll start spinning. It'll light up Mania mode so that you can start a Mania mode, and it'll also light up a Sonic Spin Dash so that you can use a Sonic Spin Dash, and I'll talk more about that later. But so what happens is when this guy is spinning, if the ball hits him, then the magnet will automatically trap the ball, and he'll start spinning in the spinning disc area. And after a few seconds, if you don't do anything, then it'll just fling out like it normally does on any other real pin. However, on this table, I've added a feature so that when it's in the Magna Spinner, if you hold down your button, your launcher, your Magna, or your fire button, now the ball gets pulled to the center, stabilized, so it's no longer spinning around in circles, and you'll see the lights around the Magna Spinner start progressively spinning around and lighting up. And then they'll get faster and faster, and the color will change. And the idea is that whatever light is lit up, when you let go of your button, that's the direction the ball is going to fire off very directly and very specifically. It's not just going to be a random direction. So the idea is that when you trap the ball here, you can hold down the button and then let the ball fling in any direction you want. So it'll allow you to make that Mania mode shot much easier without even having to use a flipper. It completely changes the gameplay of this game. It's very cool. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I've never quite seen, maybe I'm wrong, I've never quite seen a toy like this with all this combination and allowing you to have that kind of direct control. And if you do know of a pin that has exactly the same kind of feature, let me know, because I don't think I've quite seen one, but I could be wrong. Or maybe Zen has one on one of their pinball effects tables. So I'm going to demonstrate that right now. So I'm just going to turn the volume up some. All right, so we'll get a coin in there, and we'll start her off.
So nice of you to drop by.
All right, now I'm just going to be using the ball roller, guys. You know, I'm not going to be going super fancy, proper gameplay, because my videos are long enough as is. As you can see there, look how easy that was to trap and to make that shot. All right, so and we see proper ball save now. So I'm just going to use a ball roller here. So if you want the Magna-Spinner to activate, you have to hit the checkpoint on the right side. And when you see that the globes are down and the barrier is on over the checkpoint here, it means that one of three things can be activated, or all of them. Either the Magna-Spinner, the ManiaModes shot light, or the Sonic Spin Dash. If it's down, it means that you can do one of those things. So what I always recommend doing is, you know, to make this shot easy, you can either try firing it up directly or hit up here, which is much easier to do now. And then if you hit it up here, then let the ball bounce off that flipper and then trap it. I've watched guys play this table on streams so many times, and it would drive me nuts, because I'm like, that's the easiest way to control the ball in this game. You fire it up the center, let it kick over, and then let it bounce off and trap the ball. Now you have the choice of firing it to the upper right, or you can fire it straight up, and then you can make that checkpoint very easily.
Give it up, robotic.
And there you go. So now you can see the Magna-Spinner is lit up, and it's starting to spin around now. So basically, when the ball hits the center of that, it's going to get trapped, and then the lights will come on. If you don't do anything, the ball, after 3 seconds, will just shoot in a random direction. And I'll show you that how that works, and then I'll show you how to properly use it to control it the way you want to fire in whatever direction you want.
Give it up.
Well, I don't normally make that shot that well. There, I'll just get right to it. So let's say you shoot the ball right up here, right? And he comes down here. So you can try to hold him off like this, or if the ball bounces into that area, and then it gets flung off. And then you saw there, the direction the ball got flung off showed a red light flashing. So that gives you more of a visual indicator of, you know, what's happening with the ball. Now that's if you don't do anything, you just let it go on its own and you didn't hold down a button or anything. I'll just kind of let invincibility go on its own, and then we'll go up there and try this out. Alright. Oh jeez, I missed it already. There we go. Oh jeez. See, sometimes that's a cool thing to kick back and sometimes get it up there for you. Alright, we'll get her. Oh, maybe we won't. Oh, that's funny. Alright, there we go. Good example. Alright, so now if you want to get to that damn medium mode shot, now what you can do is you hold on to that ball. You don't just flick it off instantly like so many of you streamers do, damn it. You flick the ball up into the Magna-Spinner. It'll trap it. You'll get 3 seconds. Then you hold down the button. The lights will start spinning. The lights will start changing color. If you hold down the ball for too long, the lights will change from red to orange, from orange to yellow, yellow to white. And then when it keeps doing that, it goes faster and faster and faster, making it more difficult to choose where you want the ball to go. And if you keep holding it down, eventually it'll just let go because you've held it down too long. So yeah, so this is a great way to make that Mania mode shot much easier now. So now I'm holding the button. Look at that. Look how much easier that is. If the ball happens to fall into the Magna-Spinner, you can make that shot. If you control the ball with the flipper, you flick it up there, you can make that shot. You know, like it's so much easier now. And now you're going to see when you start the mode, the ball now goes to the plunger lane. And you can see the new lighting and shadow maps I've added to there as well. So now you have to get all the rings, but no worry, because now you have the options to get the Magna-Spinner enabled, as well as the Sonic Spin Dash, which I'll talk about afterward. So see, now you got it trapped. So what you do is, oh, I messed that one up, but it helped get the rings. But I could have used that to get to the I could have used that to get to the blue ramp shot from the ManiaModes shot. Yeah, we got an extra ball. All right, so that's how that works. Actually, I'll show you one more time. If I hold it down for too long, what will happen? So let's say we get her up there. We go wee up there, and then he falls down. So if I keep holding it down, the colors will change. They'll go faster and faster, and then they'll shoot it off in a random direction. You don't get to well, no, it'll shoot it off on the very last light that's lit up when it expires. It's not a random direction. Whereas if you don't hold down the button at all, then it is a random direction. So there you go. So that's how the Magna-Spinner works. Very cool feature. Really changes the dynamic of that ManiaMode shot. Now I'm going to go on and talk about the Sonic Spin Dash. So the Sonic Spin Dash is almost identical, only it can happen anywhere on the playfield. So the idea is that when that blue light is lit down here, when this guy's lit up, that's telling you that you can use Spin Dash. Alright? So when you use the Spin Dash, it's the same idea. You hold down the button, and then you're going to see a spinning arrow that spins around your ball. And then when you let go of the button, that's the direction your ball is going to fire off. It's not going to always be absolutely precise because, you know, I mean, like, you have, you know, the ball movements factoring in. But the bottom line is you can use it to do the same idea as the Magna-Spinner anywhere on the playfield, as long as you're not in the upper wire ramps. You can't use it in the upper wire ramps at all, and you can't use it in multi-ball. And the same thing goes for the Magna-Spinner as well. You can't use the Magna-Spinner in multi-ball to shoot your ball off wherever you want. It'll still trap it and fling it off, but you can't choose to do that. It just gets too complicated when you have multiple balls going on, and it's just kind of a mess to try to control all that. Same thing with the Magna-Spinner, or the Spin Dash. You can do it anytime except for multi-ball, and you don't get to enable it during Supersonic as well. So I'm just going to show you with the ball roller. So let her go, hold down the button, and there you go. Look at that. Look at that. You can use that anytime you want it, wherever you want it, as long as it's on the upper playfield. And that is very, very cool, very, very handy, because you can use it as like a saving grace if you're going straight down the middle. You can use that to save your ball. It's still not super easy because, you know, the ball, the arrow spins around, right? So you may not be able to, you know, pick exactly where it goes, you know, but it's still an option to try to get what you want for certain shots or certain saving shots. And when you're in the middle of playing and you're used to using it, it can really change how the game plays. Now I have a test key, so I'm just gonna re-enable it again, you know. But yeah, like, I mean, like, imagine if you're going straight down the middle, for example. You know, you can use it to save your ball, or let's say you already used up your kickback, and the ball is about to fall out there. You know, you can maybe, well, that didn't work well, but you know what I mean? Like, actually, yeah, let's try that. Hold on a second. There you go. Yeah, you could use it as a, oh, what's that? I can't remember what that illegal move is, but you know, the death save or whatever it is. It's kind of like a Sonic version of a death save without having to nudge, you know. But yeah, so I mean, it's a very cool feature. Simple. Again, you can get a super spin or a spin dash. You get one at the beginning of every ball. you can get another. Well, you can also enable it by hitting the checkpoint, or you can also get it enabled by getting Sonic shoes from the mystery item box. So very cool feature. Both of those combined together with that and the Magna-Spinner can really change the dynamic of how this game plays. Now, as far as how the camera changes to zoom in to the Magna-Spinner, that's only in desktop. You don't have to have that. It's an option. If you don't like that, you can go into the table options in the table script and disable it. So don't worry, guys. I know some people don't like that, but I figured it'd be kind of like a neat little add-in feature for desktop. It doesn't do that in cabinet view, so you guys don't have to worry about that. And same for multi-ball. When you go into multi-ball, I have the camera view changed to this fixed view you're seeing right now. So that way, if you're using some kind of scrolling follow the ball view, while multi-ball, that's no good, right? So by switching to this static view for multi-ball, it makes that easier. And then when multi-ball is done, it switches back to whatever camera mode you were using before. So again, those are both optional. Go into the table options in the table script. You can disable them there if you want. So yeah.
The hedgehog wants to play.
So see, now you actually have to get all 6 bots yourself now. You don't get that first one taken out for you automatically. So as an example here, it never gets out of the bumpers. Okay, so as an example here, let's say I couldn't make that ManiaModes shot very well, right? If I wanted to get that last bot on the blue, or that bot on the blue wire ramp, well, now I can use the Sonic Spin Dash to try to help with that.
Show yourself, pincushion.
And there you go. Whereas before, that shot was kind of a pain in the ass. I mean, you could do it still with the normal flippers, but now you have that extra option, just in case. Let's see if I can get this last one. Alright, I don't have anything now, so I gotta try to do the old... Oh, there we go. Now, see, look. You can trap that ball so much easier now. So now, I can take out that last bot, also hit the checkpoint, which will also enable the Magna-Spinner, as well as giving you another Spin Dash.
I'm tired of your monotonous games.
And there you go. And now we're in slow motion. Yes, for those of you who complain saying the game's running slow for me, super slow, it's like, this is by, it's a feature. It's intentional. If you get the shield, the game will run in slow motion. That's it's a feature. That's all it is. Like, but you can disable that as well in table options. Go to the table options in the table script, and you can enable and disable a whole bunch of stuff to your liking in there. This table is very customizable. You can make it easier or harder any way you want. And see, now watch. Look. Pew! Look at that. Look how easy that was. So Magna Blast is the only mode where the ball will kick out onto the blue wire ramp like it used to. And the reason why is, you have to make the table at least somewhat challenging, because if I have it come off the top, it may be too easy to complete this mode. Whereas down here, you have a couple magnets that you have to try to avoid. But there you go. And see, just make that shot like that, trap the ball, and then boom, you clear it. It's not a hard mode, but it can be out of control pretty quickly. And there you go. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Look how much more controllable this is. And I'm playing with a gamepad, and I suck with a gamepad.
Give it up, Robotnik.
And if you get shoes, that would have given you a Spin Dash as well. Now, the Spin Dash does not get rid of the shoes, just so that you guys know that. I guess technically, it wouldn't matter if the shoes gave them to you or not, because you're hitting the checkpoint. I just realized that now. It doesn't matter. The shoes have no bearing on that, because you're hitting the same spot for the checkpoint anyway. So, but if you got the shoes on the launch bonus, then that would also do it as well. But I guess in the same way, that doesn't matter either. So yeah, wow, I just thought about that just now. Wow. Well, either way, it works out the same in the end. Yeah, I might have to, just now thinking about that, I might have to change that. Because really, the shoes have no bearing on whether or not you get the Sonic Spin Dash, because you're going to hit the checkpoint either way by getting the shoes. And if you get the shoes on the launch bonus, well, you're getting the Spin Dash from a new ball anyway. So it really has no difference either way. So yeah, I might have to change that. So, either way. Alright, so... Oh no! Crap! That's not gonna help me. I should have used the death save method. There you go. And if the Magna-Spinner was already running, it'll stay running. You know, it won't turn off when your ball drains. I'm just playing a little bit here. Yeah. So, as you can see here, you can backhand that. Oh, well, if I actually do it right, you can actually backhand to this. If I ever do it right, damn it, you can backhand to that shot much easier than before. If I actually did it correctly. Here, let's try it now. There you go. And there you go. See, now you can make that shot fairly easy with both flippers. Whereas before it was a little more difficult to get that shot. There you go. All right, but yeah, that's about really all I wanted to show on this, guys. You know, 2 extremely cool new features. Very happy with how they turned out. Now that damn Mania Mode shot is no longer a big pain in the butt, you know, completely changes the dynamic of the entire game. Now, I didn't have the ball fire off too fast because that would have been too hard to control, you know, because normally a super spin would make the ball fly off like crazy. Oops, missed that. There you go. And for that left flipper, that mid-left flipper, you know, don't flick the flipper like, you know, super fast. Like, you know, like, I see people trying to just flick it like as fast as possible to make that shot. And that's not how it works. You know, if you try to go like really fast like that, it's not going to work. If you go like that, you know, it doesn't do much. You have to let it come down just a little bit. And then do that. And the same goes for post passing as well. You have to let it come down a little bit, and then you can have a better chance of trying to do post passes on this table. Sometimes it's not always easy, but there you go. See? It's just a matter of getting to know the flippers because, you know, they are more dynamic now. So how much power they have applied will depend on the physics settings that, you know, are being used. And that, you guys can adjust that to your own liking. You know, there's end of stroke, and there's you know, the omega settings for the base and the tip, and various other settings in the physics settings that you guys can adjust. So yeah, so basically that's all I really wanted to show, guys. You know, I went on for quite a while there, and I'll just show you what I was talking about here. So if you want to change options in this table, I'm in 4K right now, so that's why everything's so tiny. So you just open the table script and you just go past all the stuff at the top there, you know, and then you get down to table options here, and you got a whole bunch of stuff you can change every aspect of this table. If you want to have a chrome ball instead of the Sonic ball, you change that here. The number of balls per game, if you think 5 is too many, change it to 3 or whatever you want. Tilt warning recovery basically resets the tilt warning after a certain amount of time. Second stage flippers, you can enable those here if you have a cabinet with dual stage function buttons. Otherwise, don't enable that option. that allows the upper flippers to be controllable with that. And the ball saver time, you can actually change that here as well. So here's the camera control. So that would disable any dynamic cameras, all of them completely. But if you only want to change the Magna-Spinner zoom view that I was talking about, so that it doesn't do that, you change that here. But that will still allow the multi-ball mode uh, camera to be fixed, so that you can see all balls at the same time. Again, this is for desktop mode only. It has no effect on cabinet mode. And then just other things like performance options. If you want to get rid of the ball effects, if you don't like those, the visual ball effects. For invincibility, the shield and the shoes. And I also did add an option for the shield slow down motion. So slow motion, if you don't like the ball slowing down to slow motion when the shield is activated, you can disable that here. It'll still give you the visual for the shield, but it doesn't actually do anything. Uh, and I want to point out that with all these newer releases, the raycast shadows are enabled by default now. Before I had them disabled. So if you run this table and before it ran great for you, but now it's not running so smooth, uh, there's a section here that says game not running smooth. Do the following. So first is disable raycast shadows in the table options I just showed you, and also disable them after you've made the change in the table. You have to do that first, then disable it in the BAM menu. You have to do both. You can also change the FizX to a lower FPS. Now all my tables are coming at 592 FPS for the FizX settings, whereas before they were at 296. I make these tables specifically now for the higher FPS. That's how they're dialed in. So if you want to play this table the best way, like I showed in the video, use the default settings for FizX and use the included 8K ball model. That's optional, but the table does play better and differently. The ball has a heavier weight using that ball model. If you don't use it, or you use the 1K ball model, the ball will be less heavy, and the physics will be different. I try to tune it as best I can, but I make these tables and I tune them in for the 592 FPX physics settings and the 8K ball model. So if you play with a different setting and not using the ball, certain things, it'll still play fine, but certain aspects will play a little differently than, how I intended them to. So just so that you guys understand that. And if you have other issues as well, you can disable reflections in Future Pinball's video settings. So if you're having issues, just kind of follow those guidelines. And read my install instructions that comes with these tables. You have an issue trying to get these tables to run, or if you want to know anything, go to the install instructions that I include with these tables. Everything you need to know is in there, guys. And it's got a nice FAQ, an FAQ, frequently asked questions at the bottom, that answers questions to almost all the major stuff. Everything you need to get this table to run, or anything you need to know, is all in there. I have links to anything you need. It's all in there, guys. Make it much easier for yourself. It's a lot of information, but it's only a lot of information if you need it. Not all of it is stuff you necessarily need, but it's there because everyone uses this stuff differently. Some people are in desktop, some people are in cabinet, some people, use feedback and lighting, some people use pup packs. It's all going to be different. Now this section here, I only have that enabled because I'm testing right now. So I wanted to enable and disable certain things. Normally this is not enabled. You would edit your pin event v2 settings text file. This guy, where is it? Yeah, this dude here. That's the file you would edit in your scripts folder to set up all this stuff for pin event settings. By default, most people shouldn't have to touch anything. But I see people coming in here and making changes to here. You don't need to do that, guys. Make sure this file is installed. It's with the pin event guide. And then all the settings work automatically for all tables. You don't have to touch the table script if you don't want for pin event. That's the whole idea. That file is global settings and will make things so much easier for you guys. You don't have to go in and make changes for every table. And then you go down here and here's your FizX settings here. The default is on profile 1 and it uses 592 FPS, which means that this right here, needs to be set to 592. If you change it to 2, to use 296 because your computer's not really fast enough to keep the game running smooth, then you would change this to 296 as well. And then you have other profile here for bouncier flippers. If you want to use that, you can. Some people prefer that, some people don't. Uh, if you want to change all the physics settings, then come down here. This is the profile 1 section. Everything's in here. The big ones you probably would change are the base omega here and the tip omega for power. How much power comes off the flipper? The live catch, if you find it's too easy to catch the ball onto the flippers, you can change that. If you want more bouncy flippers, then come down here and do this one here, the bouncing coefficient fall off. You can increase that if you want. Those are the main ones that you would do. If you wanted to make other changes, well then just follow the directions. If you change the swing angle of the flippers in the editor here, then you have to make sure the swing out angle here matches. So if you wanted it to be 48, then you'd have to make it the same on both of them, right? So this is where all your settings are for like everything. For the rubbers, they're all here. For drop targets, they're all here. So you guys don't have to settle for what I have on this. You can go in and change this to your liking. And that's the main stuff I just wanted to get at. And if you wanted to make it easier to play around with these settings, then enable. By default, these are not enabled. You'd have to come in here and enable both of these, and then you can use the F and G key to use the FizX testing tools, the tweaker and the profile changer. On my table releases, at least you can do that. So yeah, I know that was a lot of talking. But I figured I'd go through a quick blurb there, to answer some questions because a lot of people really, they try a table and if they have a hard time getting it to run, it's like, well, follow the install instructions. It's all right there. All the answers are answered on there. Super, it's not hard. Just follow through it. It's not it's not complicated, guys. Most of the time, if you're up to date with BAM and you've been patched and for 4 gig access, you don't have to keep doing stuff. You install the table on PubPack, but if there's a newer feature, well, then you need the newer version of BAM. That's all. It's not hard, guys. It really isn't. So yeah, okay. After that long blurb, that's it. So this should be out soon. It's definitely going to be out before Christmas. Depending on what goes on, I don't know if I'm getting surgery. Probably not. Not before the new year. I still haven't gotten an answer, and eventually we'll try to be seeing family. So it probably won't be out right away, but it'll definitely be out before Christmas for sure. And then after that, maybe some fixes and updates for the other tables just for newer FizX. But then after that, nothing for me for quite a while because I'll be working on Silent Hill, and that'll take a very long time. So, yep, that's the end of this video, guys. Try this table out when it comes out. You'll love it. Try these new features. Total game changers. You can use the Spin Dash if you want. You don't have to use it if you don't want. But the Magna-Spinner totally changes everything for the better. So have fun with this, guys. It's a great game. And I'll see you in whatever next video I do. Later.